choose to not be first?
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Oscar Bevis for IFL TV. Delighted to be joined by the main man this week, Mr. Lyndon. Arthur Lyndon, thanks very much for giving me some of your time. How are we?
God, you know what? I've been moaning. Every interview I did, yeah, in my head I've been moaning, but I need to be grateful, really. One, I'm breathing. Two, when this is all gone, I'm going to look back and think, I wish I could do it again, so I'm happy.
I think we're all here for you. We're all here because you're making waves.
Fucking, yeah, I'm happy.
You should have already really had this IBO belt in your cabinet. You should have been holding it on the sofa. Does that give you kind of extra motivation going into Friday night, thinking, yeah, I should already have this belt and this should already be done and dusted?
It's just postponed what I believe was the inevitable. So I'm excited for tomorrow to weigh in, and then I'm excited for Friday. 2 levels of excitement.
In terms of Brian Suarez, you were 24 hours away from that fight. You even said on stage you took your boxes off to weigh in. You couldn't really get any closer to the fight. Has it been weird kind of having to re-prepare for a fight that you had already done a camp for?
No. Yeah, it's business. It is what it is. This is boxing. These things happen. It probably won't. It's not the first to happen to somebody, and it probably won't be the last to happen to somebody. It is what it is. Chris Eubank, Conor Benn, they had a big fight lined up, and a few days out, it was off. So that was a bigger scale than this, or a bigger fight at least than this, in regards to the public attention and all that nonsense. So yeah, it's just what it is. This is the sport I chose. Such is life.
And he's kind of, I guess his sales point is the 17 knockouts in 18 wins. We know you can box, we've seen it. And we saw against Boris how when you flick that switch and you're aggressive, how you can chase after a man as well. Which Lyndon Arthur, I guess, without giving too much away, which Lyndon Arthur do you think we're going to see against Brian Suarez on Friday?
Confident one. I'm excited for this fight. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Obviously, it's such a cliche, but it does open big doors. You see a lot of people win the IBO, and 12 months later, they're in the mega fights. There's a real thing around this belt, isn't there?
It isn't. It's a nice belt. It's a nice looking belt as well. It's looking belt, regardless of it not being the biggest out of a lot of them, but it's definitely worth one getting your hands on.
And obviously, we want domestic fights. We want to see you in the biggest of fights as well. There's one fight I do want to get your take on before I let you go. Joshua Bout and Dan Aziz. I know Calla was talking about offers sent out, and obviously both men would like to see you in with just your take on Joshua and Dan.
Good fight. I've sparred Joshua. I've seen Dan Aziz spar maybe 3 rounds, 2 rounds. But I've seen him fight a lot. I've watched most of his fights. Well, after he got to a certain level, and it's going to be a good fight. Obviously, you got the guy who come from the Olympics and have the big backing, the big sky, and you got one guy who came up hard way, like fighting probably small horse shows and stuff like that. I don't know too much about his background, but I'm assuming so because I didn't know him before he got to about 10-0 or whatever he got to. Both undefeated. One's British champion, I think, or just been British champion, and Josh Bout is Josh Bout. He's had some good wins, been in some good fights. Both fit guys, both determined to win. None of them want to lose, I assume. Both probably bang hard. I'm excited for that fight as well.
The winner of them two, is that something that you would like for yourself?
Oh, they are. Every domestic fight. There's the most fun I had in the one that I've had. I got away from deck sparring, but obviously Yarde was a big fight. Had the people interested and stuff like that. So fights like that get the crowd going and get opinions rattled and stuff like that. So most definitely.
We can't wait. Obviously, we've got Friday to deal with, and I know you've had a pep talk from Roy Jones Jr. I guess, just like pretty much everyone standing in this room, he would have been an idol of yours growing up.
Yeah, most definitely. Because when I first got into boxing, obviously I got into boxing late, but when I actually did get into it fully, he was probably the only person I watched. Every single one of his fights you can get on YouTube and amateurs and all that. So You know, it was a big thing for me to have a conversation with him, actually sit down on a Zoom meeting and speak to him and hear what he has to say.
Will he be watching on Friday night?
I've been told so. I'm not sure. Obviously, he said he is, but really, I don't know. Channel 5 is in America, wherever it is. I don't really care if you don't. I've spoke to him. We've had the conversation regardless, so I'm good with that.
Well, if he does, he's going to be watching a show which you always put on for us. Just one kind of final word for the people who will be in attendance and the millions watching at home on Channel 5.
Yeah, just thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the fight.
To not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,